profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your...
Reports President Trump's intention to hold a massive military parade at some point in 2018 seems to have gotten real details on Friday, with the White House having issued a memo directing the Pentagon to prepare for a parade on November 11th. November 11th is Veterans Day in the U.S., but also Armistice Day, traditionally an anti-war holiday marking the end of World War I. This makes it an awkward time to schedule a massive and likely gaudy display of U.S. military might on the streets of Washington, D.C. Still, that's what's expected to happen, with National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster having written a memo ordering the parade to go from the White House to the Capitol building. The whole parade notion stems from President Trump's visit to France during Bastille Day, during which he saw the French military parade and said he wanted to try to top it with a parade of his own on some U.S. holiday. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports classrooms in West Virginia on Monday will remain empty as teachers continue a strike protesting low wages. More than 1,000 teachers marched at the state capitol in Charleston on Thursday to demand raises and benefits that keep up with the cost of living. The West Virginia Education Association said the protest will continue Monday so lawmakers and the governor can go back to the table and start to work on solutions that can be satisfactory to the educators across the state to resolve this. Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, said, "We need to start the discussions again with the House and the Senate and the leadership. It is clear that education employees are not satisfied with the inaction of legislative leaders or the governor to date." Governor Jim Justice signed a bill that would give teachers a 2% raise followed by a 1% raise in following years, but that was not enough to halt the protest. Justice said the members of the West Virginia legislature did the responsible thing to help our teachers and state employees by passing the pay raise package. Teachers were also frustrated with future benefit cuts. Even though the Public Employees Insurance Agency Finance Board approved a freeze on the cuts for 1 year, teachers were looking for long-term relief. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports dozens of U.S. colleges and universities, including at least 3 Ivy League schools, have said their application process will not consider disciplinary action taken against high school students who protest last week's massacre at a Florida school. Many school district officials have threatened to suspend high school students who take part in nationwide gun control walkouts and other demonstrations called for by the survivors of the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Such disciplinary action can sometimes hurt a student's chances of getting into a preferred college. The student-led #NeverAgain movement, launched after the February 14th shooting, has reshaped the long-running gun control debate almost overnight and could influence the U.S. midterm elections. Hannah Menlovitz, a senior assistant director of admissions and recruitment at Yale University, wrote on Friday in a blog post, "Yale will not be rescinding anyone's admission decision for participating in peaceful walkouts for this or other causes, regardless of the high school's disciplinary policy." In addition to Yale, more than 40 universities, including Brown, Dartmouth, and MIT, have issued statements supporting prospective scholars who take part in walkouts. In addition to the classroom walkouts, a student rally dubbed the March for Our Lives is scheduled for March 14th in Washington, D.C. Officials at some school districts have warned against involvement in demonstrations during school hours, but Stu Schmill, Dean of Admissions at MIT in Massachusetts, said in a statement that any meaningful, peaceful participation in a protest that results in disciplinary action will not impact their decision on whether to admit a future applicant. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Here is the Onion Week in Review Transportation Edition. In Albany, a Greyhound bus crash claimed 30 miserable lives Tuesday, finally putting over 24 deadbeat fathers, penniless drug addicts, and hapless bastards out of their misery. Emergency crews at the scene of the merciful accident described the sea of fast food bags, candy bar wrappers, and losing lottery tickets surrounding the crash site as utterly tragic, adding that the scorched corpses inside the bus were, quote, only slightly more lifeless than before the deadly accident.
Evidence suggests that most of the victims suffered during the crash, and for many years before they even boarded the bus. All I can say is, thank God no one made it.
Al-Qaeda is refusing to carry out any further terrorist attacks until the U.S. mass transportation infrastructure is drastically improved, calling the country's roads and bridges a, quote, travesty, unbecoming of a developed first world nation.
We want to turn your bridges into rubble. But if we took credit for making them collapse, no one would ever believe us.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in line here momentarily where you can call in to join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl,
Jonny Ray, and Mark.
And for the second year in a row, some people in Texas are upset about who won the high school wrestling championship. Johnny, you've got the story here. Let's just go ahead and jump into it.
Sure, Darryl, from the Washington Post. Mac Beggs won a Texas Girls State Wrestling Championship for the second year in a row with a victory that, once again, brought a mixture of cheers and boos because Beggs is a transgender athlete. Beggs, an 18-year-old senior at Trinity High in Euless, began the transition from girl to boy a few years ago and has been taking low-level testosterone injections but is competing in the girls' competition because of a decision by the University Interscholastic League after an uproar and a lawsuit last winter.
It doesn't take much of an expert to look at Mac here and say that the treatment's working.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's hair and makeup involved in a judgment like this.
Not in the one that I saw, but yeah, I mean, I saw tattoos and lats for days.
Muscles.
It's funny, when I was reading the story for the first time, my opinions kind of were set at the beginning when I thought I knew what was happening, and then they changed with each revelation. So
yeah, looking at photos, Mac Beggs does not look like a female.
At first, I assumed that the story was going to be about a male transitioning into female.
Okay.
And so that would be cause for boos. Then when I saw that it was a female transitioning to male, then I was hurt inside because I thought that the female had defeated males in order to win the state championship. So luckily that was not the case. So I can still have faith in the patriarchy. It's a female transitioning to male, but she prefers would have preferred to wrestle against male competitors.
Correct. Mac Beggs wants to wrestle boys because Mac Beggs wants to be a boy and is living as a boy.
Right. Male. Man.
Although
right.
Beggs,
18 years old now, so technically, would be man. But again, as you mentioned, Johnny, the whatever the athletic union is said,
the University Interscholastic League.
You were born with a vagina. You wrestle other people that were born with vaginas. It doesn't matter what hormones you're taking. It doesn't matter what transition you're going through. We are not letting you wrestle boys, even though you are living life as a boy.
Yeah, I think that this is the easier decision rather than let's make a decision on what kind of naughty parts this person has is that you make two divisions, the girls division and the unlimited division. Does that make sense? Or like the
right.
Or the non-girls division. Essentially, this person is
we just throw it back to like how professional wrestling was back in the 90s, to where you had the women's division, and then you had people like China and
China
Trish
was
Stratus and Lita that would wrestle the men. And China actually wound up holding a couple of the belts that were traditionally men's belts.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know what they called those divisions, if they changed the name for China or anything like that.
No, they never called it the men's division.
Right, because wouldn't it need to be one in professional wrestling?
Traditionally, only a man has ever held the Intercontinental Championship until China.
Right. So in this case, what you essentially have is the choice for this young person who attempted to wrestle males in the male division or whatever is now basically doping in the female division because you pick your pronoun. I'm going to go with the one that
I'm going to go with
likes.
he.
Yeah, I like Mac's pronoun. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Mac wrestle me to the ground. All 110 pounds of him. And well, I don't know. I've had a little jiu-jitsu. I might be able to take him. We'll see.
I don't want to know about you wrestling high school boys. we don't need a Jerry Sandusky incident coming out on the airwaves of Free Talk Live.
I wrestle sweaty younger men every single week.
855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. How often do you wrestle young sweaty men? And what do you think? What is the solution here for Mac Beggs, who is living life as a boy, going through hormone therapy to transition into presumably becoming a man, but yet what was the name? The University Scholastic something the Texas Athletic Commission basically is saying no. You don't get to wrestle boys because you don't have boy parts in your nether regions.
I got to say, this is a very shocking picture of Mac here with the tattoos. And this is a high school athlete, by the way. Tattoos, yes. Big lats, and the look on the judge's face while declaring him the winner of the women's division.
Let's go to the phones, and we will get back into this story. We've got Matthew calling in from Louisiana. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Good evening, gentlemen. I called last night. Hi, Mark.
Hey.
And I was talking about the incident in Parkland, Florida, and how I was astonished at the deputies and how.
Yep, so just jump right into the thought. You don't need to give us backstory about how you came to have the thought.
Okay, Darryl. Yes, sir. Right away. Anyway. One of the things I wanted to mention is that there's people who have thought this thing out, and they are trying to spread the word. And I'd like y'all's permission to mention the organization.
What word are they trying to spread?
About arming teachers in schools. It could be parochial schools, government schools, charter schools. And the organization's name is FasterSavesLives.org, because when seconds count.
And are they trying to get this to be a law across at the federal level? Are they petitioning at state levels?
They're mostly state level, but they're trying to get the word out that they've already basically invented the wheel and doesn't need to be reinvented. Don't need anything particularly new, because there are actually state laws in many states, such as in Louisiana. I was surprised to find this out, that with the permission of the administration, a teacher can carry in school.
Yeah, as I understand, there are a few areas where this can be done in regular school, and then there's quite a few that can be done in college. I don't see a big difference between high school and college. Let me toss some of the complaints that may be raised by those that disagree with this stance, and see how you react to them, okay? Number one, my God, are you going to make 90-pound school marms hoist AKs when they don't know anything about guns and don't like them?
If they don't want to carry, they don't have to. However, if they want to participate, there's also trauma first aid training that's available, and that is so damned important.
So are you telling me you want to put guns in the classroom? What if a teacher gets very angry and shoots a student?
They've been doing this in Utah.
Shooting students?
Thank God. Somebody's finally shooting students.
No, they've been carrying guns. Marky, you ought to have a comic show. They have been carrying guns in classrooms in Utah for years, and there's never been an incident like that. Is it possible? Sure. So is a meteor hitting the school and killing everybody.
Giant meteor 2016.
Right. Let's see. What are some of their other complaints are, guys.
What happens if one of the students overpowers the 90-pound teacher and steals the firearm?
Retention holsters, as Mark was mentioning last night, do a marvelous job of keeping the gun in the holster.
Yep, it's true.
So probability of that happening is not great. Is it there? Sure, it's entirely possible, but it's not probable.
Matthew, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can call in, bring up whatever is on your mind, and we'll get back into the story out of Texas about the high school wrestler that has caused quite a stir. But before we do, I want to make sure that I tell you about a home security system that you can get delivered directly to your front door or side door, wherever deliveries go at your house. You can get it sent there. And then you download an app, and the app walks you through an easy setup. Even if you have a complicated router system and aren't technically inclined, like some people sitting in the studio right now, you should still be able to get this thing set up in about 10 to 15 minutes. And then you can either get notified whenever something moves in front of the camera, or you can just check in whenever you want to from that mobile device, be it your cell phone or a tablet. And have we got a deal for you? 3 Blink security cams for what the other guys charge for 1. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect, all one word, blinkprotect.com/FTL, as in Free Talk Live. blinkprotect.com/FTL. And there's definitely more to talk about this situation out of Texas, where for the second year in a row, Mac Beggs wound up winning the women's high school, the weight division state championship. And the reason there's a controversy is because Mac Beggs was born a female, is transitioning to male, taking testosterone therapies. And there are some people upset saying Mac Beggs should not be wrestling girls. He should be wrestling boys. But when Mac Beggs asked to wrestle on the boys' team, the athletic ruling body there in Texas said, no, you don't get to wrestle boys because you don't have boy parts in your nether regions.
Mac Beggs should not be wrestling girls. Neither should Mac Beggs be wrestling boys in these
Are you
high
saying
school
that
events.
Mac Beggs should not be allowed to wrestle?
No, but
Are you saying that high school athletic events should not even exist?
I think that, well, yeah, I mean, ultimately that's how I feel, but that's not the world we live in. I don't think that society or the state of Texas owes any high school student a wrestling program. So if she wants to disqualify herself, then she should have to live with that.
And what is the disqualifying?
Taking testosterone. Taking performance-enhancing drugs.
Do you think it'll be a real bruise to the ego of the young men that may lose to Max Beggs, and why?
I would. Oh, Mark. I would die inside if a girl beat me at a high school wrestling event.
I've never lost to a girl at a high school wrestling event, but I do take jiu-jitsu. Like I said, I roll around and get sweaty with younger men on a mat on a regular basis. But that does include at times rolling around, usually not getting as sweaty, with women. And I've tapped to women before and tapped women before. Usually,
and by that, for people that aren't aware or familiar with the lingo of mixed martial arts or jiu-jitsu, that means that you caused them to submit. They put you in a hold and you said, I'm done, stop it.
Break my freaking arm.
Vice versa.
Like, for instance, down in, I went to Minnesota Jiu-Jitsu while I was down there. The wife of the owner is the high school wrestling coach for Booker High. She's a brown belt. And Jonny Ray, I could do nothing with this lady. Nothing. Like, I could have picked her up, perhaps, and just thrown her to the mat, but then she would have really commenced to whooping my butt, right? Like, so, just doing sort of normal jujitsu, there was nothing I could have done to her to prevent her from separating one of my limbs from my body. Like, that's the idea, is to isolate a limb. And then once you isolate the limb, you might as well tap then if you're dealing with somebody who's above a purple belt. Anyway. But, once they've got that limb, if you got to try really, really hard to get it back in. And if not, they're just going to do something to it. They're either going to put you in an ankle lock. They're going to put you in a, arm bar. They're going to figure out something. It's pretty hard to get a triangle on me. But I'm just kind of a tough guy, kind of a bigger guy. But regardless, they're going to do something. The fact is, it's skill and training and some strength.
And I've never been in that situation of, wrestling or doing jujitsu against a woman and having her submit me or pin me. But I will say that when I played church league softball in high school, the only time I ever got struck out was against a girl. Let's go to the phones. We've got Carl calling in from New Jersey, listening to us on 1450 AM. Carl, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, gentlemen, you'll probably wonder why I'm bringing this up. Block Island in Rhode Island, a few years ago, they had a big wind project put out off Block Island, 5 windmills at a cost of a mere $300 million, not accounting the $40 million to get a power and 8 fibers from Rhode Island to that island about 20 miles off of Rhode Island. And they have a year-round population of 1,000, 20,000 in the tourist season. And I've read that windmills last a mere 20 years. And they could have ran a natural gas line at 20 miles from Rhode Island for a mere $30 million a year.
So, hold on. I've got some questions here. You're throwing out a lot of numbers.
Yes.
And my question is, these windmills that were put off, were they designed to only provide power for the 1,000 people living on Block Island?
Well, a little bit of power to Rhode Island, but let me say this. But Rhode Island, I think, is the 42nd highest state for their electric costs. Where I live, 46. We're even worse. But it's just too costly, and even one of the residents on that island, she was mad because they got to shut the power off for sometime early in March this year because they got to fix a foundation of an electrical building, and they're going to have to turn back on what used to power on there. Diesel generators for 80 years powered that island. 1 million gallons of diesel fuel, $1 more than it cost in Rhode Island because they had to ship it there. But still, the natural gas line would be the way to go. I mean,
well, I can tell you this.
Go ahead.
I've, I have a catamaran, and we looked into whether or not we would have more solar added, better solar added, or more wind, or all those things. The solar guy, which sounds a little biased, doesn't he? He said that basically wind generators are almost universally disappointing. So
right, and
hold that thought, Carl. Hold that thought.
Hold on.
We'll bring you back, and I've actually pulled up some info on this deep water wind project off of Block Island. Plus your calls and thoughts. Welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And if you want to watch the show instead of just listening, you can do that over on Twitch. And there's actually chat rooms that are, or I guess it's a chat room that is built into the Twitch. Head over to twitch.lrn.fm and interact with other listeners and viewers, and you get to see our smiling faces. Let's go back to the phones where we've got Carl calling in from New Jersey, calling to talk about the Block Island windmill project, the official name, the Deep Water Wind Project, that wound up costing many millions of dollars. Now, I went to the website. I did a search because I had never heard of this thing before. Went to the website for the Deep Water Wind Project, And they're saying that this is going to connect Block Island, which is an island of Rhode Island. It's going to connect them to the mainland grid for the first time and provide reliable, renewable energy that will reduce electric rates on the island by an estimated 40% and, quote, diversify Rhode Island's power supply. And again, this is a very costly project. I'm guessing that a lot of tax money was used for this, Carl?
I remember right, I had to really search for it. I think they got a federal grant, which is our taxpayer money. I believe it was $87 million. It was something like that. Jeez. And Rhode Island right now predominantly is the generation and all that stuff for electric is done by clean natural gas. Jeez. But here's the real reason I brought it up. They want to do that same nonsense off of Atlantic City, and they'll raise our rates. I've heard by 50% when New Jersey already pays 50% more for their electric than most states, and it's just too costly. The BPU in New Jersey said that 3 times. The previous governor, a Republican, vetoed it, but our new governor, Murphy, a Democrat, through executive order, is ordering the BPU to approve it. And it's just too costly.
It's getting harder and harder to justify living in New Jersey, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. My wife just said this afternoon to the kids, and we're seniors, that you better get prepared because we're leaving New Jersey because it's way too costly.
Just move down to Florida. Everybody will want to visit you in the winter.
Yeah, no, we're thinking more like South Carolina. Her sister lives there and told us what their taxes are, and it's $900 a year. Her husband just turned a senior citizen. It's going to be even less. And in New Jersey, mine are about $6,000, but with the school taxes and all that stuff, I bet in another 2-3 years it'll be $7,000. It's like, geez, we can't win here in New Jersey.
Yeah, and, I'll say this on these wind projects. If they're such great ideas, then, just allow the companies to do this using their own money and don't wind up begging governments for, please give us handouts to be able to do this because it's a good idea. As they say, good ideas don't require force. Carl, thank you for the call.
Darryl, I got a question for you.
Yes.
And for you, Mark. Have you ever met a girl?
Yes, I've met plenty of girls.
And you felt an instant connection, and you warmed up to her, and the conversation flowed freely, and you felt like you were sort of made for each other. And shortly thereafter, she just kind of goes lukewarm on you. What does that mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean? I mean, when I think of the situation, the first thing happening where you make this connection, for me, that has never. It's always continued, and it would require some great disaster to end that.
No, I've had that happen where, like things are going along swimmingly and then suddenly, something weird changes or whatever.
They call that ghosting.
Well, I suppose. I would say that, okay, Mark's the sexist. Here you go. Men and women are different.
They sure are.
And that's my belief. I just believe men and women are different. So a woman's biological imperative, just like a man's, is to produce children. However, men have the opportunity to produce a lot more children than women do. If you look how many the children the most women had versus the most men that men had, you'll find a giant disparity in these numbers.
Yes.
So a woman has to make, in whatever fashion she makes her decisions, she has to make a much more clear decision. This is the guy. A guy has to make the decision. This is definitely one of the women.
This is a girl.
Right. Right. So I feel like they have this sort of system that's built in, whether they like it or not, of sort of sorting through and culling out the extras. They get lots of choices.
So like being able to build instant rapport or training that, becoming good at that, but it doesn't necessarily mean as much to them?
No, I think that that instant rapport is great, and that's what they're looking for. But if for whatever reason they're not feeling it, they ask themselves, am I feeling this? Is this the right thing for me right now? Or whatever it is, and if the answer is no, then one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to get what they want, which is no, or B, the man is going to invest more time in them, which is what they're looking for, which biologically they should be looking for, is somebody who's willing to invest a great deal of time in them, and presumably, therefore, a great deal of time in the family that they build. I'm not saying everybody intends to have children. I'm just saying that we're all run by biological imperatives. So, they got to be more fickle just by their very nature, whether they like it or not. I don't think most people know what determines what they like and what they dislike, what their motives are. So that's what my thought process is.
So why do you ask, Johnny?
I'm asking for
that
a
was
friend.
my question. Yeah,
I'm asking for a friend.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go back to the phones. We've got James calling in from Springfield, Missouri. James, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, hello, folks. Wondering what the cryptocurrencies is looking best and most stable in the going forward. Last I heard was from a fellow posting. Don't recall his name right now, but he was going for one of the derivatives, Ethereum.
I'm personally not a fan of Ethereum for a variety of reasons. So, that's if somebody were to ask me investment advice, first I'm going to say I'm not qualified to give investment advice.
And most people aren't.
Secondly, if somebody's asking about specific things, I have thoughts on some cryptocurrencies. There's like 1,500 of them, and I probably have semi-intelligent thoughts on about a dozen. The ones that I personally use are Zencash, Dash, and Zcash.
So, the ones that
the top three of your suggestions.
Yeah, the ones that advertise on the show are the ones I like because I chase after them. Right? I wouldn't put on the air. I at this point, Free Talk Live does not need to put on any old crypto on the air, okay? So the ones that I've put on the air, I like for the reasons that I like them. If you want a tip, all I can do is give you an opinion, and, it's an opinion that I backed with, action. I would say that I believe that Bitcoin Cash is currently underpriced.
Okay.
Did that kind of answer the question, or are you still hoping for something more related to financial advice that we're not able to give?
I'm kind of wondering if I was going to buy into one sort of as a nest egg, anticipating some collapse.
What I would suggest...
You should buy 3 or 4. It's fun that way.
Yeah, you want to
diversify. James, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite. Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
You're right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
If you're the parent of a man-child, you know how frustrating it can sometimes be. The piercing sound of his video games waking you up at 2 in the morning. His insatiable hunger and inability to cook anything for himself. The messes he makes. The stress can be overwhelming.
Something will set them off, such as their man-child will tell them that they don't know how to tie a tie even though they're almost 30. They'll start shaking them and yelling and saying, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why don't you get a real job instead of working part-time at a board game store?"
The results of shaken man-child syndrome are devastating. Trauma caused by the brain colliding with the inside of the man-child's skull can lead to cognitive disabilities, making it even more unlikely he'll finally marry the girl he's been having a long-distance online relationship with for 6 years, or it can even lead to death.
He's not spilling cereal all over the couch or leaving his beard clippings in the bathroom sink intentionally. He truly does not know what he's doing.
For the Lab Report, I'm Stuart Adams.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You know, we had somebody call in a few minutes ago asking about cryptocurrencies. And, well, there's one that we here on Free Talk Live do use. I think most of the hosts actually use it. I can't speak for everyone in studio tonight. But, you know, cryptocurrencies are where it's at because it's good technology. And the liberty-loving voluntarist who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech like zero-knowledge anonymity, and they're creating a secure platform for money and messaging that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. And as of just a couple of weeks ago, they have over 7,000 secure nodes, which makes Zencash one of the strongest blockchains out there. And the wallets that they have, yeah, they're available in multiple languages and on multiple platforms. So not just Windows, not just a command line interface. They've got Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices.
It's really good stuff. It's a huge upgrade in the in the blockchain technology.
Yes.
And this is why I like it.
Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. cryptocurrencies.com. Let's go back to the phones. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Gail calling in from Springfield, Missouri. And Mark, I think you may have stepped in something here.
Uh-oh.
Gail, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay. Look, guys, I'm 69, so
Yes, ma'am.
I have watched human beings for a long time. Okay? My observation has been that until women are really ready to settle down, they want the bad boys because they've got it figured somewhere deep in their little heart that I will be the one to change him. Now, guys are the same way.
Oh, I don't know. The guys
Why
are
do
always that way,
guys-
but all right, go ahead.
I have seen more men go for women who treat them terribly when there's some girl standing off to the side who is a nice girl who really thinks they're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
And they can't see them.
That's about looks. I mean,
Pardon?
that's about looks. I would agree with your assessment, except the proposition that guys go after bad girls. I would propose that guys go, early on tend to overvalue facial features and body shape
I think,
versus
and I'm
personality.
going to partially agree with Gail here. I think
I
that
mostly agree with Gail.
People, by and large, go for the thing that isn't as easy to obtain.
I think men have more of a tendency to react to if they're not being respected, if they're being treated bad, if a girl is deliberately giving attention to another man. Some men will that'll make them try harder, but I think men are much more likely than women in that situation to just think, all right, to hell with you. I'm moving on to somebody else. I don't think men put up with that the way women do.
Go ahead, Gail.
Men will not, and women will not do this forever. Okay?
Right, and
that
I don't think anybody was
biological
saying
thing
that they
kicks
would.
in. Yeah, the biological thing kicks in. And then women start looking for somebody who's going to be a good provider.
What age do you think that is,
Somebody
Gail?
they think is.
What age do you think that? What just in general? Pick an age for women on that.
Well, it varies an awful lot.
Yeah.
But I think probably about the time a woman gets to maybe be about 25, 26.
That's my number. Don't mess with them below
starts
25.
looking
Don't even talk to them if they're under 25 because they haven't got anything intelligent to say.
So what if what if they're the waitress where I'm going to get food? I have to tell the waitress what I want to eat, Mark.
Darryl, is that seriously your question upon that piece of advice?
You're saying don't even talk to them.
Yeah, give the waitress your order, Darryl.
But
go ahead, Gail.
Okay, guys, this is the thing. All right, okay, now Justin Bieber he's kind of on the outs right now. But just think about all of the girls, and, these were into their 20s too, that were crazy about this baby-faced little monkey who is such a little bad boy. And I don't think he's all that damn talented to begin with. But he was so misunderstood, and nobody realized that, the world was picking on him. And there is nothing quicker to get a girl on a man's side than for her to think that the whole world is against him. I'm not kidding. If you're parents out there, if anybody's a parent, if your girl or your son comes home with girl in your whatever combination, if you say, I can't stand them, don't like them, you're not going to, I guarantee you, you're shoving them right into their arms. So that's my psychology tip for the day. Thanks, guys.
Gail, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
If women didn't make such poor choices below the age of 25, no one would date men below the age of 30. So there you go.
Let's go to Mark calling in from Tampa. Mark, you're on Free Talk Live with Darryl, Johnny, and Mark.
Hello, how are you guys tonight?
Doing well. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I'm looking at pictures of Justin Bieber. Go ahead.
That's a sentence I never thought I would hear you say, Mark.
I really didn't know what he looked like. I don't know what he looks like now. I see a lot of pictures of a man of a bunch of different ages.
He's like one of those, forever 12-year-olds.
He could be 40 for all I know. But please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to change the subject up here a little bit.
Please do.
I love your show, and I listen all the time. I mostly download the podcast, and I like to go back in time, and I listen to podcasts from 8 years ago. And one thing, I usually agree with you guys most of the time, but I think a lot of times you want to blame the government for everything.
That's the show, right?
Right, and I agree for the most part, but I think you have to look at the source of the problem. Let me give an example. Like, I was listening to an old podcast about a skateboarder, and he got in trouble for not wearing a helmet.
Okay.
Cop pulled him over or something and gave him a ticket or whatever, and somebody called in, and you guys talked about it for a while. And I don't think so much the problem is with the government. I think the problem is with the lawyers. Because the reason that there's a law...
You just repeated yourself.
But let me finish. The way I see it, it's not like the people from the government, the lawmakers and whatever, sit around and say, we ought to make a law about, let's bust kids for not wearing helmets. I think the real problem is the lawyers, before there's a law, the lawyers will sue like a county or a city because their kid, somebody's kid got hurt skateboarding and wasn't wearing a helmet. So now the lawyers get involved and there's some, class action, or not class action, but some big lawsuit, and they end up winning. And so now the government, after the fact, says, we just got sued for millions of dollars because some kid, busted his head open at our skate park. So now we ought to make a law that all kids have to wear helmets.
I think you underestimate the number of busybodies that wind up getting elected state rep.
I could be, but I think if you look at all the laws, I mean, I know there's millions of them or thousands or whatever, seat belts or all these different laws. I think the cause of the problem is lawyers with frivolous lawsuits.
It may very well be, part of it.
Probably the cause for a sizable number. Then
they're
you also
using the
have,
government system.
You also have lobbyists. So I'm convinced, and I have no evidence to support this, but I'm convinced that the only reason there are mandatory child safety seat laws is that the companies that make child safety seats hired lobbyists and went and convinced legislators that you need to make people buy our product, and here's a way you can do that. Until a kid is 4'9", they need to be in one of these things. I know grown women that are barely 4'9". Does that mean that they should be sitting in booster seats when they're driving their little red convertibles?
Well, no, I agree with you too. But my point is, and just like you said, I have no evidence to support this. But I would bet that it's more of it came from a frivolous lawsuit. In other words, some lawyer got involved with some parent and some, decided to sue somebody, and then a law was formed.
I probably don't call it that enough, but the government is a lawyer-industrial complex.
Yes.
I mean, basically, the lawmakers are lawyers, and so lawyers making it so that lawyers make money lawyering doesn't surprise me at all. So I don't disagree with you.
Mark, thank you for the call. This is Free Talk Live.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com, or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, February 25th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.53 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $34, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,492. Antiwar.com reports President Trump's intention to hold a massive military parade at some point in 2018 seems to have gotten real details on Friday, with the White House having issued a memo directing the Pentagon to prepare for a parade on November 11th. November 11th is Veterans Day in the U.S., but also Armistice Day, traditionally an anti-war holiday marking the end of World War I. This makes it an awkward time to schedule a massive and likely gaudy display of U.S. military might on the streets of Washington, D.C. Still, that's what's expected to happen, with National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster having written a memo ordering the parade to go from the White House to the Capitol building. The whole parade notion stems from President Trump's visit to France during Bastille Day, during which he saw the French military parade and said he wanted to try to top it with a parade of his own on some U.S. holiday. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports classrooms in West Virginia on Monday will remain empty as teachers continue a strike protesting low wages. More than 1,000 teachers marched at the state capitol in Charleston on Thursday to demand raises and benefits that keep up with the cost of living. The West Virginia Education Association said the protest will continue Monday so lawmakers and the governor can go back to the table and start to work on solutions that can be satisfactory to the educators across the state to resolve this. Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, said, "We need to start the discussions again with the House and the Senate and the leadership. It is clear that education employees are not satisfied with the inaction of legislative leaders or the governor to date." Governor Jim Justice signed a bill that would give teachers a 2% raise, followed by a 1% raise in following years, but that was not enough to halt the protest. Justice said the members of the West Virginia legislature did the responsible thing to help our teachers and state employees by passing the pay raise package. Teachers were also frustrated with future benefit cuts. Even though the Public Employees Insurance Agency Finance Board approved a freeze on the cuts for 1 year, teachers were looking for long-term relief. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports dozens of U.S. colleges and universities, including at least 3 Ivy League schools, have said their application process will not consider disciplinary action taken against high school students who protest last week's massacre at a Florida school. Many school district officials have threatened to suspend high school students who take part in nationwide gun control walkouts and other demonstrations called for by the survivors of the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Such disciplinary action can sometimes hurt a student's chances of getting into a preferred college. The student-led #NeverAgain movement, launched after the February 14th shooting, has reshaped the long-running gun control debate almost overnight and could influence the U.S. midterm elections. Lennart Lopint, a senior assistant director of admissions and recruitment at Yale University, wrote on Friday in a blog post, Yale will not be rescinding anyone's admission decision for participating in peaceful walkouts for this or other causes, regardless of the high school's disciplinary policy. In addition to Yale, more than 40 universities, including Brown, Dartmouth, and MIT, have issued statements supporting prospective scholars who take part in walkouts. In addition to the classroom walkouts, a student rally dubbed the March for Our Lives is scheduled for March 14th in Washington, D.C. Officials at some school districts have warned against involvement in demonstrations during school hours, but Stu Schmill, Dean of Admissions at MIT in Massachusetts, said in a statement that any meaningful, peaceful participation in a protest that results in disciplinary action will not impact their decision on whether to admit a future applicant. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A cool guy from middle school is still sporting his fat pair of Jinkos. A stunned St. Peter's Square crowd hears the Pope getting bitched out by God, and an 8th grader caked in makeup is probably really confident. This is The Onion Week in Review. This week, a Pew Research Center poll found that the vast majority of Americans would watch a television show called Love Trap, with most saying that regardless of the show's genre or quality, they would tune in weekly to see its stars stumble into romantic triangles, double-cross one another, and contend with whatever the titular love trap refers to. The survey confirmed that 62% of Americans would likely watch Love Trap to see a shrewd but cold-hearted Southern belle named Tammy. 23% of the nation hoped the show would be referred to as The Trap by its most loyal fans, and 15% of respondents said they simply needed something to watch. And in this week's science news, a biologist completes a 5-minute study of the pathetic organism in his mirror. In other news, a man confidently hits send on the worst job application a company has ever seen.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Kicking off hour number 2 in studio. It's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And we've been all over the map talking about high school wrestling, arming teachers, windmills, several questions about dating, lawyers, and cryptocurrency. Not dating lawyers, though if that were the question, I would strongly advise against it.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of nice lawyers out there.
What was the name of the gentleman who asked the question about lawyers? Or posited
Mark.
that lawyers,
Mark.
Yeah, that lawyers.
Mark in Tampa, not Mark in studio.
Because I have a quote for him that I wanted to share. This quote is from the 16th century philosopher.
Oh, no, I thought it was that bumper sticker. First, we kill all the lawyers.
That's Mark's sentiment. Mine is a little different.
Is this the one, what do you call a busload of lawyers at the bottom of the Atlantic?
No.
Good start.
No, this is a quote from pronunciation, ? Etienne de la Boetie.
You did a far better job than I would have.
From the Discourse on Voluntary Servitude. And the question that I'm answering here with his quote is, whose fault is it?
Yes.
Poor, wretched, and stupid peoples. Nations determined on your own misfortune and blind to your own good. You let yourselves be deprived before your own eyes of the best part of your revenues. Your fields are plundered, your homes robbed, your family heirlooms taken away. You live in such a way that you cannot claim a single thing as your own, and it would seem that you consider yourselves lucky to be loaned your property, your families, and your very lives. All this havoc, this misfortune, this ruin, descends upon you not from alien foes, but from the one enemy whom you yourselves render as powerful as he is, for whom you go bravely to war, for whose greatness you do not refuse to offer your own bodies unto death. He who thus domineers over you has only 2 eyes, only 2 hands, only 1 body, no more than is possessed by the least man among the infinite numbers dwelling in your cities.
What's the too long didn't read version of this?
I'm halfway through. He has indeed nothing more than the power that you confer upon him to destroy you.
You know, people pay Jonny Ray to do monologues, right?
Yes, I know.
Let the man finish the monologue.
Where has he acquired enough eyes to spy upon you? If you do not provide them yourselves, how can he have so many arms to beat you with if he does not borrow them from you? The feet that trample down your cities, where does he get them if they are not your own? How does he have any power over you except through you? How would he dare assail you if he had no cooperation from you? What could he do to you if you were not traitors to yourselves? You sow your crops in order that he may ravage them. You install and furnish your homes to give him goods to pillage. You rear your daughters that he may gratify his lust. You bring up your children in order that he may confer upon them the greatest privilege he knows, to be led into his battles, to be delivered to butchery, to be made the servants of his greed and the instruments of his vengeance. You yield your bodies unto hard labor in order that he may indulge in his delights and wallow in his filthy pleasures. You weaken yourselves in order to make him the stronger and the mightier to hold you in check.
So it sounds like you're blaming every man, woman, and child alive for what some government agents are doing.
Yeah.
The 4-year-old boy that has never paid a tax in his life is responsible, according to Jonny Ray.
No, not Jonny Ray. This is the quote from this.
Johnny's the one reading it, so therefore Johnny is presenting this idea.
16th century communist. Look, this is collectivist thinking. I can know. That's exactly what it is.
It's nothing of that.
Nothing
of the sort.
There is nothing I can do to control the next white 46-year-old male's behavior. Yes, the government, the state, the king will trample me with his minions because he pays them. And they don't think the same way as I do. They don't feel the same way as I do. They're going to accept the 30 pieces of silver. They're going to say it's correct to do so. They will justify in their minds that this is a nation of laws, and even if a few eggs are broken in the process of omelet making, that's the price we pay for civilization. There's nothing I can do to prevent or expedite or really much of anything a freer world. This guy wrote this stuff, and we moved only from monarchy to democracy. Democracy is a 3,000-year-old concept.
A horrible concept at that.
A republic's a 2,500-year-old concept. Our Constitution is over 200 years old. This is a concept that was put on paper when people still got around on the backs of horses. I mean, we can have advances in technology in any other area. We can't have an advance in the idea of governance. Well, no, it's because these things are monopolies, and they're very, very, very entrenched.
We don't need progress. We don't need technological or technocratic tweaks. We need for the people who are being trampled on to not accept that anymore. And that's just, you're right, Mark. It is. As I'm examining my own thoughts, you're right. It's collectivist because I'm condemning a class of people. I'm condemning the taxpayers.
Yeah.
But you're condemning even
them all.
The people that haven't ever paid a tax. You're condemning the 4-year-old child that has never paid a tax because you are saying everyone.
Yes, I'm considering the people. I'm considering the people as a whole, and I think that we are going to evolve out of it, and it's just a matter of time. In the meantime, what we can do is fight specific battles, is we can identify victims like Ross Ulbricht and fight to get that guy out. But as far as the overarching societal insanity, that's going to work itself out on its own. The process of human evolution is going in that direction, and ultimately we're not going to have the state.
Let's go to Discord, where we've got Wikiwea calling in. You can chat in the Discord, going to discord.lrn.fm. Wickawea, you're on Free Talk Live with Darryl, Johnny, and Mark. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi there. I wanted to just say something that follows on from the discussion yesterday about the mass shooters, because especially in the Discord chat, a lot of people brought up why does it happen, and I kind of thought to myself, like especially over here in Europe, people talk about why they happen in America so much, and a lot of people go, oh, it's just the culture and stuff, and it's the kind of inequality and the fact that there's such a big gap between winners and losers in America. And I kind of thought to myself, that's probably another state-created problem, because, I think libertarians can be slightly defensive about blaming things on inequality because they think inequality is a result of the free market. But I think with the free market, there'd be much less inequality. For example,
I tend to think you're right, that those that control the political and economic machinations in this world are clearly not the poor. And so if the rich control the political and economic machinations, for whom will they design them to benefit? And I mean, the idea of democracy was to benefit the poor at some point, is to level the playing field and do all those things. But I believe that social welfare programs are a poor way to do this.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and there's also the way a lot of rich people make their money. For example, we have something called the Rich List. I think in America you've got your sort of equivalents, basically just kind of lists of all the richest people.
Yeah, like Forbes magazine every year comes out with, here's all the billionaires.
Right, and if you look at all the industries they're in, the ones that I noticed that loads of them are in are things that are kind of quite state-dominated. Like in property, the state picks winners and losers through the planning permission system, and also a lot of them are in banking and finance, which is the most state-dominated business of them all.
Wickawea, if you've got more, hold your thought. We'll bring you back. This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees!
What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And for years, libertarians of all stripes have been wanting a directory of liberty-minded businesses. Well, guess what? There's finally one in existence that people are using, and we're helping build it. Talking about Liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a tool for our community. At its core is a directory for events, businesses, and digital content, and so much more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's also a bit of a social networking aspect so that you can connect and share with others. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu and use code FTL, as in Free Talk Live, there in the bar that asks for activity codes. Put in code FTL and you get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. That's Liberty.menu. Let's go back to the phones, actually to the Discord, where, again, we've got Wikiwea calling in. And Wikiwea, you were calling in about a discussion that happened a couple nights ago on this show about the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, and sort of a tangential discussion about why do things like this happen?
Yeah, well, I think we were just talking about kind of about some of the things that caused the inequality that we were mentioning before.
Right, so that there are some people that say that, you know, inequality between the haves and the have-nots is what causes people to wind up killing a bunch of people that aren't necessarily the haves.
Well, I don't know if the shooter himself was very poor or anything, but I just think it sets about a whole kind of culture of you know, it's I don't know, I guess it's hard to explain, but I think it just sets about a whole culture that being happy is about defeating other people or having more than other people. And that's why I was drawing the link. But I mean, certainly, like even in Canada, I think that's what a lot of people draw it to when they talk about America. Like, I've had friends in Canada, and I ask them if they go to America much, and they go, "Oh no, it's too dangerous, and it's all about money, and everyone there is crazy," which obviously is you know, a bit of an exaggeration on their part. But
well, I mean, so what they've decided is that America is a handful of places, and it's none of those. So yes, you know, if you go to East St. Louis, America is a dangerous place.
Yes.
If you go to the wrong place in New Orleans, America is a dangerous place. If
the
you go,
wrong part of Chicago,
Miami,
basically anywhere in Detroit.
You pick one of the top 20 metros in the
South
U.S.
Central.
Right. Yeah. You go to the south side of Chicago, walk through the south side of Chicago, and just see if you live. There's some bad places in the United States. They do not account for 0.01% of the land mass of the nation state known as the United States of America. So that I'm going to slide that over to the side as a spurious misunderstanding of the idea of the United States by people who just listen to the news.
Well, I don't think you can, separate those areas just because they're a small landmass, because they also account for a sizable amount of the population.
Not my problem. I don't live there. Do you want me to go ahead and decide that Canada is the worst place in Toronto? Because that's the kind of stupid reasoning that we're talking about here. It's just that kind of short-sightedness. You don't need to come to the United States. Please don't come to the United States if you don't want to. I'm talking to the audience out there, not you, Wikia. But let me talk about being shallow and money-centered. When I went to L.A., man, I happened to be sitting at a sushi bar enjoying, as I do, raw fish. And I was listening to some gals chit-chat about new guys that they had met. And they were literally went and first talked about the cars that these guys drove. And I had never experienced this. And maybe it was just these two ladies. But that fit into the paradigm that I had of Los Angeles being a shallow and money-driven place.
Right, and the reason that I pointed out that you can't just separate these things because they're a small landmass is because most of the media where things are set in the United States, where they set New York, L.A.
Sure.
So it's what is seen by the outside world.
This is why
all that Americans know about Canada is what they saw in the movie Strange Brew, then we would think everybody is, a hockey infatuated drunk that enjoys really bad beer.
We know it's really like Trailer Park Boys.
I have no clue what that is.
I don't either. I think that's something that I saw on the internet. Look, I don't presume to know everything that there is about Canada. I've been there. It was very nice when I was there. It was the nicest.
They have moose.
It was the nicest jail I've ever been thrown in. Thank you, Canada. When
I went to Canada, everything was closed.
There is no U.S. culture. I tell this to the people that want to stop immigration. And I'll tell it to the people that want to make sweeping statements about the United States.
Right.
There is no U.S. culture. New Hampshire, rural New England is nothing like South Beach, Miami, where I have been.
New England is nothing like Boston.
No, it's not 2 hours away. But, that's how it is. Most of America is flyover country, as the talk show hosts like to call it.
Yeah, nobody flies over northern Maine, though.
There you go. So, Wikia, your thoughts?
No, I totally agree. I wasn't meaning to judge America unfairly, although whilst I'm still on the line.
We judge America all the time, but go ahead.
If I can make a brief final point about the inequality stuff that I was mentioning, and how the inequality I think is mostly a state-created problem, is that there's something called the millionaires to billionaires ratio, which is meant to be a measure of corruption. Basically, if you have a country with loads and loads of billionaires and relatively few millionaires, that would mean that it's quite corrupt. Because if it wasn't corrupt, then there would be sort of opportunity. You'd obviously think there'd be loads more millionaires than billionaires. And anyway, the top of the country with the highest ratio of billionaires to millionaires was Russia. The countries with the lowest, as far as I can remember, were Netherlands and Japan. Now, I don't know much about the Netherlands economy, but in Japan, all of those people who were able to make themselves millionaires, which obviously according to this ratio is quite a lot, they were all in businesses that were not very state-controlled and not state-dominated. There were lots of business people in heavy industries and technology and things like that. And I just thought that was quite telling.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
I think the reason that we've got our Nicholas Cruzes, which is the name of the young man who shot up the school,
wasn't he like mentally ill? And I suspect that happens everywhere.
He was receiving treatment, including, according to some headlines I'm looking at here of articles that I haven't read, including pharmacological treatment.
Yeah,
so he was on drugs.
There's always the SSRI, point that should be made. I don't know that much. I couldn't make the comment one way or the other, but did he go to this high school?
Yes,
he
did.
Had been expelled from the high school.
Okay.
Wicawea, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Your thoughts about, well, pretty much anything. Plus, there was a Confederate flag seen in Seattle that caused a stir. We'll tell you about it.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Are you retired or facing retirement and you're afraid your income is going to be less than you'd like? I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and I want to show you a low-cost way to create your own business working around your current schedule, creating extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have been all over the place tonight. Started off talking about some Texans upset about a high school wrestling championship. And then we've had callers direct the conversation all over the place, including talks about dating, lawyers, and cryptocurrency. Not dating lawyers and paying them with cryptocurrency. But you're welcome to call in if you have thoughts about that. In studio, it's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
Let's go to the Skype, where we've got David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, yeah, I had my own thing, but first of all, let me share my favorite lawyer joke. It's an oldie but a goodie. You may have heard it. What do lawyers use for birth control?
Other lawyers? I don't know.
Their personalities. And then, funny thing, and Mark, you said that lawyer industrial complex that you use. That I have been doing the same thing for about 10 years. In fact, I actually filed it in a court paper. I filed at our Court of Appeals, but I modified it even better. I think going back to the old military industrial complex thing from Eisenhower. So that's where you got yours, right?
Yeah, that's where I got it, sure.
So what I call it is legal industrial, instead of lawyer industrial complex, I call it legal industrial complex, but I add and establishment so that its acronym is LICE, a lice. And another funny point of that lice thing is if you look at many municipalities, the police cars, that says police in big tall letters on the side of the vehicle. And when they open the front door, the L on the passenger side, it says the front door says LICE because the POL is on the back door. So when they open the door, it says lice. But and that you're talking about Nicholas Cruz. One fact for you might be helpful. He probably was a poor kid. However, life insurance from the death of his mother and or his father gave him $25,000 a year in cash income as an 18-year-old or probably actually younger. His mother had died like 4 years ago, and he was getting $25,000 a year ever since she died 4 years ago. So he had $100,000 to spend. That's why he was able to buy.
In theory, in some cases, that money goes into escrow until like the 18th or 21st birthday. And I don't know what the situation was, specifically there with Mr. Cruz.
Yeah, I don't either. It was when I heard it reported, sounding like, and I don't know if they were accurate, but they made it sound like he was actually receiving that money and had it to spend, which would explain. They claim that he had multiple weapons, like as many as 10 different long guns, so that could possibly explain that. Oh, and one little fun fact on northern Maine. Actually, Maine is a flyover state because the Great Circle route from the U.S. to Europe goes over Maine quite often. So
he's right.
They do get quite a. Well, you remember I'm a retired airline pilot, so
I'll take your word for it. Didn't know that at all.
Here's another fun one.
But I don't think that northern Maine is what people think of when they mention flyover country. They're talking about Nebraska, Iowa, the places there in the middle.
The places where I grew up. Yeah, exactly. You're correct. A fun one, too, I noticed in the news reporting, I heard, first of all, Adam Kokesh, when drug-sniffing dog came around and found marijuana or whatever in his vehicle.
Are you talking about the thing from several weeks ago, or did this happen again?
No. I don't want to start a rumor. The one and only original in the news, the one that everybody knows about when Adam was recently arrested.
Okay.
Adam's dog's name is Baloo, and I was listening to a radio coming out of Tennessee the other night, and there was a drug sniffing dog named Baloo that busted some dude for 2 kilos of cocaine. So there's just a little fun thing there.
Probably not the same dog. David, thank you for the call. Let's go to Bad Slave, also calling in on Skype. Bad Slave, you're on with Darryl, Jonny, and Mark. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Can you hear me all right?
Sorta. It's a little tinny.
I got to shut off.
Yeah, I have no clue what is being said there. I'm going to mute you and then come back to you in just a moment. I did tease about the Confederate flag that was seen flying in Seattle last weekend. And, well, the story here might surprise you. Comes from the Daily Wire, where they say over the weekend, the Seattle Times jumped at a news tip. There was a Confederate flag flying beneath the American flag in the city's Greenwood neighborhood, and residents were very concerned. Only, it turns out it wasn't actually a Confederate flag.
Wait a second. Before we go on, are we talking about a house here?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me actually give you the thing that was written by the tipster. Hi. Suddenly, there's a Confederate flag flying in front of a house in my Greenwood neighborhood.
Go to hell, lady.
Northeast corner.
It's their yard.
Northeast corner of 92nd and Palatine, just a block west of 92nd and Greenwood Avenue North. I would love to know what this means. Means being in quotes, but of course, don't want to knock on their door. Maybe others in the area are flying the flag. Maybe it's a story. Thank you. Eager to get the scoop, and yeah, I'm going to skip around here. Eager to get the scoops, reporters from the Seattle Times hopped into a car and hightailed it over to view the offending flag themselves. Only it turned out they weren't in for quite the controversial sighting they'd anticipated. It was a Norwegian flag. The people flying this were Norwegian Americans. Their family had immigrated from Norway in the 1950s. And, well, the Olympics are happening, and they wanted to cheer on Team Norway during the Winter Olympics. But some dum-dum, not realizing that flags other than the Confederate battle flag have the colors red, white, and blue in the shape of a cross. Now, it's a completely different style cross. In the Confederate flag, it's a giant X. In the case of the flag of Norway, as alongside the flag of Iceland and Sweden and Finland, it's a T sign.
Right.
So, it's like the cross of St. George, not the cross of St. Andrew, but because it's red, white, and blue and the shape of a cross on it, somebody thought it was a Confederate flag.
But there's no stars on the Norwegian flag.
No stars at all.
And the cross goes the different way. Okay, so the flag of Norway is unique in that you can make flags from like 7 different nations out of it. So if you look in one way, you can make the flag of Indonesia, the flag of Poland, the flag of Finland, all by cutting rectangles out of the flag. The flag of the Netherlands, Thailand, even France can be made from this particular flag. So it's a unique flag in that particular way. I'm not a big fan of flags generally, but I see why people want to show heritage and all that sort of thing.
I would say that I'm a fan of flags as a form of art, but I'm not a fan of flags as a form of promoting nationalism.
Yeah.
And I realize that, that's difficult for a lot of people to differentiate the two things.
Yeah.
But, I can appreciate a good flag, and I can recognize that some of them, like the flag of the state of New Hampshire, are absolutely horrible.
It's just a boring one. There's so many like them in the United States.
There are like 20
fields of blue with some state seal in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's called an SOB, a seal on a blanket.
Yeah. And something better could be done. You'd think that the state legislatures, with all their things that they do, they'd come up with something better.
There was a state rep that introduced legislation to create a committee to study redesigning the flag, but unfortunately it got shot down.
I think the best bet is just for designers to shoot flags in to their reps and then have the reps vote on them. Hey, what do you think of this? This is pretty cool, right? This would be more solid rather than putting a government committee in place.
Yeah.
But
we need to get NAVA on that, the North American Vexillological Association.
You're calling the government or newspapers on your neighbors for a Confederate flag, you're the problem.
855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
1 out of 4 people listening to my voice right now could die from heart disease. This could be your last year, and you don't even know it because you don't know the early warning signs. If you think you're safe because your cholesterol levels are normal, think again, because studies show that 75% of heart attack patients also had normal cholesterol levels. Let me introduce you to Strauss Heart Drops, a world-famous heart and brain formula made in Canada. It's time-tested and will give you clinical results in 90 days or your money back. Learn more at signsofheartdisease.com. They are shipping free this month.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And I want to make sure that I tell you about the best pillow that I've ever used, and I'm convinced it will be the best pillow that you've ever used as well. And if you don't agree, you can get your money back in the first 60 days. I'm talking about My Pillow. That's the brand name. You don't actually get to come over and use mine because, well, it's mine. The MyPillow is designed to fit to the shape of your body. Hold your neck in the proper position. I've been using it for a couple of years, as have you, Mark.
I love
using
mine.
your own. We're not sharing a pillow. And yeah, it's the best pillow I've ever had. And unlike a regular pillow that winds up collecting dirt and dead skin over the years, you can actually throw your MyPillow in the washer, throw it in the dryer, and it is still usable. Go to MyPillow.com. Use code FTL to get your very own MyPillow at half price, or you can get a second pillow free of charge. And they've even got pet pillows. Jazzy, the studio dog, has her very own MyPillow bed. And remember, if you or your pet don't like it in the first 60 days, get your money back. And the pillow itself guaranteed to last you 10 years. That's MyPillow.com, code FTL. Let's go back to the phones, actually to Skype, where we do have the audio situated here with Bad Slave. Bad Slave, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Howdy, guys. Jonny Ray, really liked your little diatribe there, and I think it was fairly spot on. You know, in some sense, when you're speaking of governance, which I think we were, you're actually speaking of a collective, the way it's operating now. I wish it wasn't. I would like governance to be taken down all the way to the individual, and we'll have enlightened people making good choices for themselves in their self-interest, and understanding the benefits of society and community and healthy families and all of those things rolled into the whole package as society has shown are beneficial. But what we end up with is using the threat of force, the monopoly on force, to somehow do this, and they make these laws. I mean, there's some basic understanding of how humans need to work and function with each other, but when you take an army of lawyers and have them go at the idea of laws and do it for 200 plus years, I don't know, then you're ending up with a mess. And so right now we have over half of the prison population, which I have unfortunately been part of, actually going on and caging these people. Half of them that have not even harmed anyone. Half plus.
Yeah, I would think it was more than that.
Yeah, but, yeah. It's I don't know what the number is. It depends on, a lot of things.
I've seen numbers specifically
of
half
sounds
arrest.
Right, actually, now that I think about it, yeah.
And you're talking, Bad Slave, about the prison population. The number of arrests, it's well over half that are for victimless offenses.
Yeah.
And then, the number of those that actually wind up getting incarcerated, is fairly large, but the number going to prison is a little smaller. I ran the numbers here in Keene, New Hampshire a few years ago, and it was 70% of all citations by the police were for nonviolent victimless offenses.
Well, then beyond that, right now I am on parole, so I have I have conditions for parole.
Yep.
And they approach draconian. I don't need these conditions. I have harmed no one ever.
Right.
And the fact is that, my reason for being in prison is because I don't believe I need to give permission to travel. And I didn't. And they decided that, and I did my best to use the common law process, and that that failed me. Not so much that it was that process that was bad, but I had 5 cases. I had 5 charges, the same charge of habitual offender, and all of those combined into a like an impossible mess of
cases, right? I mean,
cases. I mean, just logistical issues of how I couldn't even get to all the cases because they went from Coos County to Grafton County to Hillsborough County. So
they stretched from the northern part of New Hampshire all the way down to the southern.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could either get a driver's license, which you couldn't have anymore, to drive to them, or have somebody take you.
I had to combine the cases. I mean, if I had $1 million, I could probably have hired a team of lawyers and gone after it. But I just, used the 3 public defenders involved, and and I did a plea deal so that I could get it over with. I was on the lam for a while. I mean, I was just, saying, man, this is ridiculous. I'm just going to ignore this. They'll find me, and they'll, and then I did the plea deal, and I'm out now, but I'm on parole.
How much longer do you have on parole? Because I know that's something that definitely has you over a barrel.
That's variable. If I get my 2 years good time, and the thing is that once you're on parole, it's a single individual, the parole officer, that decides whether you just stay on parole or you end up back in a cage.
Right, but the judge handed down a sentence that said you have parole for X number of years.
Well, the maximum is 5 years.
5 more years from today, or
no? The sentence wouldn't be 5 years from today. What kind of question is that?
I'm trying to find out how much longer.
How much is left is the proper question.
I asked that question, and he said it depends.
I was about to complete the sentence here. The sentence is 5 years, and I'm past 2.5 3/4 years.
So you've got about 2.5 more years left.
So would you say that this is an advice? Abel, wait. Abel.
Bad slave. Mark has a question.
Is it a bad idea to attempt to take these, right to travel cases to court?
Well, if it was one case, and I had enough money to set, Hipple on it or something like that, and just let it go.
That's a lawyer here in New Hampshire, for those not familiar.
But you know what? They don't want to go after the right to travel. The attorneys. I mean, I talked to all 3 of these fairly reasonable public defenders, and they all, I said, I want you to go after my right to travel.
Let me ask the question a different way. Would you advise someone to become a right to travel activist?
I'd advise everyone to become that.
Is it because you want an army of people to go out and take the arrows that you took, and then you presume at some point they'll get tired of firing arrows? Or
I want everybody that gets detained on the side of the road to ask the question, are you expecting I'm accessing a privilege of the use, the commercial use of the public way? I want that question asked, because we are accessing private use of the public way, which is a right and not a privilege. And it's never been eliminated.
The beat cop that's pulling you over doesn't know and doesn't care. Bad slave, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And what's this about banning best friends? Mark has the story.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, February 25th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.53 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $34, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,492. Antiwar.com reports President Trump's intention to hold a massive military parade at some point in 2018 seems to have gotten real details on Friday, with the White House having issued a memo directing the Pentagon to prepare for a parade on November 11th. November 11th is Veterans Day in the U.S., but also Armistice Day, traditionally an anti-war holiday marking the end of World War I. This makes it an awkward time to schedule a massive and likely gaudy display of U.S. military might on the streets of Washington, D.C. Still, that's what's expected to happen, with National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster having written a memo ordering the parade to go from the White House to the Capitol building. The whole parade notion stems from President Trump's visit to France during Bastille Day, during which he saw the French military parade and said he wanted to try to top it with a parade of his own on some U.S. holiday. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports classrooms in West Virginia on Monday will remain empty as teachers continue a strike protesting low wages. More than 1,000 teachers marched at the state capitol in Charleston on Thursday to demand raises and benefits that keep up with the cost of living. The West Virginia Education Association said the protest will continue Monday so lawmakers and the governor can go back to the table and start to work on solutions that can be satisfactory to the educators across the state to resolve this. Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, said, "We need to start the discussions again with the House and the Senate and the leadership. It is clear that education employees are not satisfied with the inaction of legislative leaders or the governor to date. Governor Jim Justice signed a bill that would give teachers a 2% raise followed by a 1% raise in following years, but that was not enough to halt the protest. Justice said the members of the West Virginia legislature did the responsible thing to help our teachers and state employees by passing the pay raise package. Teachers were also frustrated with future benefit cuts. Even though the Public Employees Insurance Insurance Agency Finance Board approved a freeze on the cuts for 1 year. Teachers were looking for long-term relief. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports dozens of U.S. colleges and universities, including at least 3 Ivy League schools, have said their application process will not consider disciplinary action taken against high school students who protest last week's massacre at a Florida school. Many school district officials have threatened to suspend high school students who take part in nationwide gun control walkouts and other demonstrations called for by the survivors of the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Such disciplinary action can sometimes hurt a student's chances of getting into a preferred college. The student-led #NeverAgain movement, launched after the February 14th shooting, has reshaped the long-running gun control debate almost overnight and could influence the U.S. midterm elections. Hannah Menlovitz, a senior assistant director of admissions and recruitment at Yale University, wrote on Friday in a blog post, "Yale will not be rescinding anyone's admission decision for participating in peaceful walkouts for this or other causes, regardless of the high school's disciplinary policy." In addition to Yale, more than 40 universities, including Brown, Dartmouth, and MIT, have issued statements supporting prospective scholars who take part in walkouts. In addition to the classroom walkouts, a student rally dubbed the March for Our Lives is scheduled for March 14th in Washington, D.C. Officials at some school districts have warned against involvement in demonstrations during school hours, but Stu Schmill, Dean of Admissions at MIT in Massachusetts, said in a statement that any meaningful, peaceful participation in a protest that results in disciplinary action will not impact their decision on whether to admit a future applicant. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
At Greyhound, we're committed to providing our customers with an exceptional travel experience, and that's why we've outfitted our 2014 line of motor coaches with new deluxe roadway seating that's moderately less disgusting than our traditional fare tickets. For a flat surcharge of $35, customers can upgrade to our exclusive deluxe seating area, where select seats have been refurbished with premium upholstery, boasting significantly less crumbs and Wendy's bags stuffed between the seats, guaranteed to leave you somewhat less repulsed than you are normally. Relax in the comfort that when your feet stick to the floor, they'll be sticking to up to 65% less indeterminate dried fluids. Passengers who upgrade to our elite seating experience will have the option of personalizing the garbage surrounding their seat with a pre-ride selection process, as well as a priority boarding feature where they'll be able to settle into their high-end motor coach accommodations without having to navigate through a crowd of inebriates, ex-convicts, and the morbidly obese. And from all of us at Greyhound, happy travels.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 3. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
Johnny, I want pictures, Ray.
And Mark.
What do you want pictures of?
God knows what he'll get.
Various women.
If you have pictures for Johnny, 855-450 free, and then just describe them to him, because that should be very interesting. 855-450-3733. Mark, you've got a story about some school somewhere saying people aren't allowed to have best friends anymore. Before we get into the story, who was your first best friend? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember this very clearly. So I have a situation that resonates with this story. When I went to a Christian school in Bradenton, Florida, called, oddly enough, Bradenton Christian.
Very creative name they have there.
Yep. It's a Dutch Reform school. If you folks know anything about Christian schools, the Dutch Reform are busy.
I know nothing about the Dutch other than tulips.
That's why I'm telling you, rather than being interrupting maybe and saying tulips, maybe you would have listened.
You said they're busy, and that doesn't tell me anything.
I didn't finish saying they're busy setting up schools, Christian schools, as their outreach mission.
Okay.
You just had to say tulips. So, yes, anyway, I started kindergarten there, as did a young man named Jonathan. And, we fast became friends, not this Jonathan. We fast became friends. There are more than one Jonathan.
Yes.
Darryl.
I am aware.
And your other brother, Darryl.
Yes.
And then at some point, maybe second or third or fourth grade, I don't exactly know when, a young man named Jason came along, and we both liked Jason a lot. And we had gone from, we had been best friends for years at this point. A good portion of our lives at, say it was third grade. I don't know when Jason came along. And there was tension, right? Like we both wanted to be Jason's best friend,
right?
Sort of too. And at some point, I recall in sort of late elementary school, we kind of worked it out where without having any deep conversations or anything, we managed to work it out to where we are best friends. And
the three of you,
the triumvirate,
a triad.
I believe at some point or another, we I don't know. We had little nicknames we came up with ourselves, and they all had to do with cars or something. And anyway, we just palled around together.
Yep.
And rather than trying to play the I'm best friends with him or he's best friends with me or any of that stuff, which I recall went on, we just kind of settled on the notion that we, the three of us, are best friends, and that we will live with that.
Johnny?
That's easy. I have a twin brother, so he's always been my best friend.
Do you talk to him much? Because I don't hear him come up in conversation very often.
No, I guess I don't talk to him that much, but I don't talk much, period.
Okay.
That's what makes me such a good talk show host.
Indeed.
Yeah, my best friend growing up. Do you still talk to your two?
I don't know whatever happened to Jason. He came into the comic book store like one time when I was 17 or something like that, and we chit-chatted, and we were going to exchange numbers or something. But what are we going to talk about on the phone? He was visiting town.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I mean, maybe I would talk to him if I hooked up with him on Facebook or whatever, but I do. My friend John and I still talk on Facebook. He recently left the area and moved to Texas. So, there you go.
Yep. And I still talk to my best friend from school. His name's Tim. He's a Baptist preacher, and he's been married for, 18 years? He just celebrated an anniversary not too long ago. Popped up on the Facebooks, and he's got a couple kids, and they're living in Carolina. Actually, not too terribly far from where you're from, Johnny.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good guy. Well,
Yeah.
Going on here from CBS New York.
Before we get into it, let's go to the phones. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got James calling in from New Jersey, watching us on the YouTube. Hi, James. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hello, Ian and Mark. It's me, the fact guy again.
No, it's not Ian and Mark. It's Darryl, Johnny, and Mark. But you've got a fact for us. Go ahead.
I've got 3 of them for you.
3 of them.
So,
all right. Is that fact number 1 that you have 3?
Yes. Okay. First one is cows have best friends.
Oh. Having had cows, I wouldn't have known that. Go ahead.
Number 2, do you ever realize when flamingos stuck their heads down a lot?
Did I?
Is that a fact or a question?
That's a
question.
dependent clause.
So they put their heads down to feed, and then they hide their heads to sleep. What are we asking here?
The fact is that that's not the way they sleep. That's actually calling for a mate.
I was just standing by flamingos the other day in Acapulco, Mexico, and it had its head tucked, and it's sleeping.
I've never paid that much attention to flamingos long enough to pay attention if they were sleeping or
You're
getting
from Birmingham. What the heck are you going to know about flamingos?
We had them at the zoo.
I don't ever have anything to do with animals with pink plumage.
Go ahead. Next fact.
And number 3, in the movie Independence Day, when Will Smith says, "And what the hell is that smell?" that was him actually reacting to rotting shrimp in a lake nearby.
Interesting. Welcome to Earth. Also a quote from Independence Day.
Yes.
All right, Mark. Tell us about this thing in New York. Of course, it's New York.
Of course, it's CBS. Growing up, your best friend is the person who always is there for you, the one you share all your secrets and exploits with. But now there's a growing movement to ban best friends. The movement isn't a ban on friendship. It's just geared towards having children broaden their friendship circles and become more inclusive. It's a move a lot of educators think is in the right direction. Rumored to have first started at Prince George's South London School, this push to break up best friends is catching on, says clinical psychologist Dr. Barbara Greenberg.
I hope this move to break up best friends does not translate over to the wrestling world, because then it would break up the tag team of Beretta and Chucky T.
Well, I don't know anything about that. There's been a movement in some American schools and European schools to ban the phrase best friend. Greenberg said the idea of banning the phrase best friends is a very intriguing social experiment. And while it may be raising some eyebrows, Greenberg, who works with children and adolescents, says there's some good rationale behind it. I see kids come in all week long who are feeling dreadful because they are excluded and because they're either nobody's best friend or their best friend has moved on. The point is to teach children to be inclusive at an early age rather than exclusive. And let's face it, you can't ban somebody from having a close relationship, and you can't really ban somebody from having a best friend. But what the schools are trying to do is foster the idea of kids having more than a single friend.
So all you're really going to do is wind up creating a different term for best friend, or you're just going to, somehow convince these kids that they're not allowed to actually have friends. You have to be inclusive and be friends with everybody. But I don't want to be friends with everybody because, Johnny's mean to me. Johnny pushed me in the mud that one time. I don't want to be his friend, but you have to be friends with everybody.
I think that you can, if this is done correctly, that you can educate kids on being inclusive. I don't know about the term banning best friends, but I do see the pain that, I went through and some kids probably go through with this whole switch of best friends. Hey, not your best friend anymore. Good luck. I mean, it's basically a breakup.
Right.
Before you care about girls, you care about people or care about people of the opposite sex, presuming this is your, I'm not going to be,
heteronormative,
politically correct here. Yeah, for
masculinist, chauvinist, pig.
Before I cared about relationships with women, I cared about relationships with boys, right? And, that's how it was.
Your calls and thoughts. Welcome, 855-450-FREE. What are your thoughts on best friends? Should best friends exist? Should you be inclusive? Can you be inclusive and have a best friend? This is Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better, no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And, you know, we are fans of cryptocurrencies here, and we hope that you would at least look into them. And, well, what better place to go than to news.bitcoin.com, where you can find out all kinds of stories about what is going on in the crypto space. Headline from 1 hour ago: Georgia lawmakers propose tax amendment that allows Bitcoin payments. Story from 4 hours ago, and I think this is something that was talked about when it actually happened, the CoinDash hack. Apparently, the hackers have returned some of the Ether that was taken in that hack. 20,000 of them.
That's a lot of Ether, right?
That is a lot of Ether that is being returned. And, of course,
$2 million or something.
You can find those stories plus many, many more over at news.bitcoin.com. We were talking about this story out of New York, where apparently there is a move to ban at least the term best friend. We don't know if they're actually going to ban the concept of. The article seems to imply that they're not going to ban students from actually having a best friend. You're just not allowed to say that Johnny is my best friend, because we have to be inclusive. And there's a little bit more to this article that we will jump into. But first, to the phones, where we've got Nick calling in from New Jersey. Nick, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
That's crazy that you can't say that that's your best friend. But listen, here's my example. It did good for me to make friends with other people. My best friend in kindergarten, okay, our kindergarten teacher lived around the corner from us where he lived. So the following year when I went to kindergarten in 1968, he noticed that I wasn't playing with anybody else. He said, "You can't play with Mark anymore. You have to make new friends." So the whole time and during the class, when we had playtime, I made other friends. What happened, I wound up being outgoing, and I knew more people than I could remember their names. To this day, people come up to me and say, "Hey, Nick, what's going on?" I'm like, "Get the name. Hey, how you doing?" It's embarrassing when you can't remember somebody's name.
Indeed.
I think it's ridiculous that you can't call somebody your best friend,
Right.
It's interesting that the project worked on you, but at the same time you don't support it. So is it just that
I didn't like it at the time?
Yeah. Well, and indeed, what I would say is there's many sort of growing pains through which we go that we may not like that might be the best things for us. I encourage my son strongly to be inclusive. It's very easy for him to latch on to a young kid his age and attempt to play solely with that young person. But, on a playground or in a group or whatever, dynamics change. And then you've got this situation where, the person leaves, and then what are you going to do? Or, that person, a friend of his, shows up, and then, you're you're the one on the outs. So what I say to him is it's best to play with all sorts of people, and from all different walks of life, and find what you have in common with them rather than just picking one person. There's nothing wrong with having a good time with somebody while they're there, but you hang your hat on one pole and that moves, and then what are you going to do?
I was thinking the same thing as I was on hold. Like, I can understand why she did that, because I would have been lost. And can I make one more comment?
Sure, go right ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I know a lot of people, I understand why they don't want their children to play football, because you can really get hurt. I never got hurt. But, I love Little League baseball and football. And for boys and girls, I think it's a great thing for them to play some type of sport in school, to be a part of a team, to learn sportsmanship and just be a part of something, It's a great thing. That it does something to you. I can't explain, but it's great. It's good.
And, it also teaches teamwork.
Yep. I'm with you. I think athletics are great. When things have gone so far that somebody thinks it's a good idea to helmet spike, somebody else on the field, then winning has gone too far. All the football movies are about winning. They rarely spend the time talking about the sportsmanship.
Rudy.
What's that?
The movie Rudy.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
I love those underdog sort of stories.
Yep.
And Rudy, I would say, is probably the best one. Nick, thank you for the call. Let's jump back into the story here from
when
CBS.
It comes to athletics, I'd like to say this. When it comes to athletics, you've got one body, right? And you should use it to its best, but you don't want to squander it, being foolish in your youth either, I guess.
Hold on. Hearing you, Mark, say you only have one body. You're the guy that wants to put your head on a robot when you die, which would mean that you would then have a different body.
Yeah, but I currently only have, at this point, people have only had one body. So I can only work with the facts as they exist today.
Hashtag facts. You only have one body until your brain is put in a robot body, and then you still only have one body at a time.
Yeah, if people want to investigate, they can go to alcor, ALCOR.org.
So jumping back into the story out of New York, again from CBSLocal.com. Clinical psychologist Dr. Barbara Greenberg says the point is to teach children to be inclusive at an early age rather than being exclusive. She says, let's face it, you can't ban somebody from having close relationships, and you can't really ban somebody from having a best friend. But what the schools are trying to do is foster the idea of kids having more than just a single friend. Jade Jacobs, who operates Timberlake Camp, says his counselors have been fostering a more inclusive environment for years. He says that's what we encourage at camp. I think there are pitfalls in just having one friend. Remember, as you grow up, interests change, children go in different directions.
Yeah, sure do.
And I want to stop here to say that just because you have a best friend doesn't mean that is your only friend. It just means that that friend is closer to you than the other friends.
Yeah, I understand, but, one of the sort of unspoken aspects of best friendom is that you're supposed to spend time with me rather than other people. And that means that if
I never thought that's what best friend meant. I always thought it just meant I'm closer to this friend than I am to my other friends.
I think that's what it means to a lot of people, is that, like I said, this is like a breakup. When somebody decides to move on with the best friend, people move neighborhoods and all kinds of things happen. And, like there was my son and another young man were good friends when they were quite young. It turns out this kid's really into sports now, and my son's never going to be some kind of star athlete. They just moved in different directions.
Jacob says you can't be on the soccer field and just deal with one child. They're going to have to interact with the entire team. It's now about promoting kindness, looking at children to be kind to one another, and to be aware of what it looks like when you're not. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA pack technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon, or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Are you one of the 70% of Americans that want to own your own business? Afraid to leave the security of your current job to pursue your dreams? I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and myself want to show you a low-cost way to create your own business, working around your current job schedule, creating an extra income for you and your family by joining his crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
Now, you also said in another video that the moon is an iPod. Can you explain that one?
I believe the moon, the reason why it turns the color that it does is because it fills up with the humidity and water from the transmission of electrons or electricity. I believe that we're upside down being pulled by magnets right now. The actual ocean is in the sky, and they're reserving that sky. The reason we have thunder and lightning is because of the shock waves that go through the two skies up above. Otherwise, where's the thunder and lightning going to come? Because there's no way the clouds are that thick, or the planes wouldn't be able to go through it.
Have you ever been abducted by aliens?
No. Wait a second. Hold on a second. I think so. 45 minutes every single night.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark. Check out shop.freetalklive.com. There's been changes there over the course of the past year. Amazon basically decided they just don't need Free Talk Live anymore. But Walmart.com, who has, frankly, all the products and all the service that Amazon.com does, is available there as a link, and you could do your purchasing there at shop.freetalklive.com. There are several other ways to buy at shop.freetalklive.com. Your purchasing through that link helps us. It's an extra click for you. It might be a little extra work at first, but you can bookmark it and make it a lot easier for yourself. It's shop.freetalklive.com. Thank you.
Let's go back to the phones where we've got Edward calling in. Also, like several other callers, calling in from New Jersey. Edward, you're
New Jersey
on
night.
Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for putting me on. I just attended a I would guess you'd say an anti-Second Amendment rally down in Livingston, New Jersey, was headed up by Senator Menendez, and they were bringing out the 3 children from Parkland, the 4 children from Parkland that have been going around on the circuit. And it was.
I didn't realize children from Florida were being, sent around the country.
Yeah, they're parading them everywhere.
Yeah, they're being paraded around, and they're giving them a voice. As they of course attacked the NRA and was trying to say that the NRA was responsible for all the weapons that are in existence, and because of the NRA is the reason we have all these high-powered AR rifles and all these things. And of course, they brought up the magazine bill that Menendez is trying to push through Congress or through the Senate. And it was if I got a voice and I was able to get to the mic, which I would have been booed because of what I would have said was absolutely against everything that they were standing for.
So I've got a few questions here. How large was this rally?
They filled this Jewish temple was about I would say 1,500 to 2,000 locals.
And any idea
teachers.
or any way to tell how many people in attendance were supportive of Senator Menendez and, taking away gun rights, or how many people like yourself were opposed to it but just wanted to see what was going on?
I would say that we were outnumbered probably 2,000 to 2.
Okay.
It was pathetic. I mean, anytime they said anything that was going, anything that was attempting to change the Second Amendment or take away our right, our God-given right to protect ourselves, it was standing ovation.
It's one of these issues that's getting really sort of polarized. There was a time, not even that long ago, when Democrats supported gun freedom and there were Republicans that were against it and all these sorts of things. But
right.
It appears as though this is going to be the political football issue that they're going to attempt at this point, that they're going to attempt to run across the goal line in the midterms. The midterms, mathematically, the midterms aren't going to turn out any differently than, it's still going to be a Republican House. That's not going to change.
Right, and the Republicans will still wind up, having the majority in the House. But if 2018 goes as the midterm elections generally go, the Democrats will wind up picking up seats, because that's generally what happens, is the party that's not in power picks up some seats in the midterm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, they're definitely going to use this. They're definitely going to run this. I mean, they talked about it. And, the young men from Parkland that were on the stage were encouraging everybody to make sure you vote, and make sure you vote for those that aren't supported by the NRA. And they're really just pushing this whole agenda as if Parkland is such a surprising happening. I mean, of course, anytime a school gets shot up, it's tragic. But it's never, it's not the guns that are killing the people. It's the people that have the guns. And
right. And as far as
look at that,
encouraging people to show up and vote, I'm going to make a bold prediction in February of an election year that people have short-term memories, and come November, when it's the general election, people are probably going to have forgotten about anything that happened in February. Voter turnout is going to be statistically insignificant as far as a change goes from what it was 4 years ago.
Did these school kids have any solutions for other problems going on in the United States? Did they have some kind of ideas about what we should do about North Korea, or perhaps Yemen? Maybe
national debt.
Yeah, national debt. How we'd pay down the national debt that they're being saddled with, or was it just informing us all that we shouldn't vote for a particular class of politician?
Yeah, they were certainly trying to school us on our right to defend ourselves.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we don't know what we're doing because the school got shot up. I mean,
it's obviously terrifying what occurred, but for me, when it comes to school shootings, I'd rather ban the schools.
Exactly.
that's I mean, the idea that you take a whole bunch of kids, 2,000 of them, shove them in one institution that looks remarkably like a prison, force them to stay in there with a bunch of people that they would not otherwise associate with. I mean, there's no place like this in America except prison. I mean, it doesn't even, what is it training for? I don't even know.
We're training people on how to get into college.
Right. In college, it's
right. How to get saddled with college debt. Because the government subsidizes that, and it makes it cost so much,
Yeah, and
it's shameful.
I'm guessing the college students didn't come out and directly say don't vote for Republicans.
Yeah, they'd probably get their ticket to ride.
But if they did say don't vote for Republicans, I would partially agree and say that that's not going far enough, because you also should not vote for Democrats, because
Absolutely.
Both major parties, all they really want to do is control people. They just want to control people in slightly different ways. Edward, thank you for the call and thoughts.
In many cases, Darryl, people don't have a third person for whom to vote when they're on the ballot. Now, remember,
sadly, yes.
Yeah, it's not like.
Well, he is calling in from New Jersey, where the Libertarians generally are able to get their candidates on the ballot. The Greens are also able to fairly easily get their candidates on the ballot there as well.
Lots of places that it's not true.
Yes, I am well aware.
You're more well aware than most. And I certainly don't have a problem with people picking the least crappy of candidate if they choose to go to vote on voting day. I also don't have a problem with people saying, this voting thing is mathematically insignificant. I don't see why people bother doing it. But it's not like, I guess it's not like the Greens or the Libertarians generally put up the most awesome of candidates either, I guess, is the thoughts that I have when it comes to these things.
Right, and I know that there's the South Park thing about giant douche and turd sandwich. I view most elections not like that, but they're all turd sandwiches. The only difference is donkey turd or elephant turd or some other kind of turd. Well, I don't want a turd on my sandwich.
Yeah. Well.
Where's my ability to vote for don't put a turd on my sandwich? And then people say, oh, so you just don't want to participate. Well, when my options are turd on a sandwich or no sandwich.
Or soggy.
I want to opt out.
Soggy turd sandwich.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a none of the above option. Wouldn't that be cool?
It would. And I know I've mentioned this several times before. In Nevada, they do have none of these candidates. Unfortunately, it is not a binding option. So if none of these candidates gets the plurality of votes, the human candidate with the most votes gets elected. This is Free Talk Live. Check us out online at freetalklive.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
All right, it's another edition of the Edgington Post Show. host, Mark Edge, here at the North American Bitcoin Conference, and it has just been, it's been a whirlwind, this event. People sitting down over and over for interviews, and thank you so much to everybody who's been on. I've got my my co-host on here.
Henry Rains.
Thank you, Henry, for sitting in and helping me out here. And right now I have with me Lennart Lopint.
Lopint. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's actually French, if you know Chopin, and you can pronounce the nasal Lopin.
I think everybody in America calls it Chopin.
Yeah, exactly. See, right? Chopin. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, okay. But however it might be. So you guys do Bitcoin ATMs?
Yeah, that's right. We're a Bitcoin ATM operator. Our main focus is Florida at this point. We're expanding to Georgia, South Carolina.
Why Florida? Why
because it's our home. It's just where we. Well, obviously I'm from Germany, but my new home, and my partner, obviously they're
it's nice and warm in Florida.
It's there's something to be said about Florida versus Germany.
Do you know of the jokes, Florida or Germany? Are you familiar with this?
No. Okay, so here we go.
The suggestion is that if there is a weird news story, some bizarre news story, man eats his dog, or whatever
it's
it might
usually
be,
Florida, right?
It will either be from Germany or Florida, and you're supposed to guess which one.
That's actually, it makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense.
I have no idea why this might be.
That's why I feel so comfortable
here.
You're
from Germany, and I'm from Florida, so I'm allowed to talk about this. It's not a problem. Tell me, what is it like having all these ATMs?
So it's interesting because you're breaking ground in an environment where there's certain vested players that have been around forever and kind of rule the turf, the banks and the regulators, if you will, kind of. Want to talk about ruling, but there's certain things are set in stone, and it feels like an industry that crystallized a long time ago with certain where everybody knows their nice little place and nobody is supposed to say anything. And here comes Bitcoin, right? And and of course this is not just us. This is something that a lot of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency companies experience. But when you come from the ATM angle, it's fascinating to see because you find a lot of confusion. The banks don't really know what to do with you, how to handle you. FinCEN doesn't know what to do with you. Lots of rules are not written, and the concept of being able to do whatever you like unless it hurts someone versus you're only allowed to do what's written in a book. You typically think that America is the one place where people came to live, and let live. Especially me, I was born in East Germany, so that has a special connotation.
Sure.
Versus
I pass through East Germany every time I fly on the TSA. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually very, very true. So the idea from an East German perspective that you can only do what's written in a book, is a troubling one. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of interesting to navigating a landscape in the U.S. where it's quite similar. Maybe that background helps now actually to understand where the regulators, banking industry are coming from and see how we can, I guess, push the envelope.
Anybody I've ever talked to from an Eastern Bloc country has always said something to the effect of, the more I'm here, the more it looks like whatever the government is over time.
Right. It's a very sad thing. I came 10 years ago, and one of the reasons why I left is exactly this point. I looked at the European Union, and I wasn't really happy, to say the least. And you have
Switzerland. There's always Switzerland.
There is always Switzerland, and actually the Swiss can't stand the Germans anymore because there's so many of them moving to Switzerland.
I see.
But I thought I would want my kids to grow up
Aren't the Swiss the Germans?
Well, actually no. If you are in Europe, it's like if you're in this town versus that town, you're it's a different nation. Yeah. Basically, point is, yes, you're right, that there's a certain encroachment of the state, the superstate, and of course Hollywood paints a picture of America that's not so, right? Once you start living and looking at the corners, of course, it becomes a little bit more complex and in many ways actually European, interestingly enough. And when I study, read Constitution or older founding father texts, it's kind of fascinating to see a mindset that's lost in many Americans' minds. But from a new immigrant standpoint, it's actually fascinating because you feel actually closer to it because you made a similar step. You know?
I say this oftentimes on the air that I think that there should be some kind of qualification to be able to vote. We currently have that, right?
Yes.
Somebody who moves to this country,
Yes.
decides they want to be a citizen and vote, has to take a test. Whereas the people who happen to be born here could be complete ignoramuses about how everything works, and they still get a say. Now, there are those that argue that it doesn't make a difference that they're ignoramuses, but nobody will argue that, and nobody could possibly argue that there's a threshold of averageness, and 50% of the people are below that.
Right, exactly, and that would shift depending on the background education. I do think there's a lot of emphasis on originally having a populace that is educated, and that it makes a big difference of how their voting will turn out, in which direction. So the knowledge, the historical knowledge, where you're coming from, why there was a certain motivation for Constitution, Declaration of Independence. I think it's really important to get that mindset right. But
Anyway, back to cryptocurrency ATMs. Now, do your machines spit out cash if people want to trade in?
Some of them do, yes.
Okay.
So we have two types of machines in our network. We have a two-way machine and then a one-way machine. I'd say 90% of transactions are all one-way, where people just buy coins, and we offer several.
I don't know that there's anything in New Hampshire what we call a one-way machine is a crypto vending machine.
Yeah,
like
exactly, crypto vending machine. Yeah.
When you get a soda pop out of a machine,
correct,
there's no machines out there that you could put a soda pop in and get $1 out.
So our vending machines do that, right? Our kiosks, some of them, not all of them, where you can come with your Litecoin, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and you get fiat currency out.
Are those all the ones that you do?
We do 5. I think I forgot Ethereum. Yeah, Bitcoin,
Ethereum
Bitcoin
would be
Cash,
another good one to have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the major ones.
Yeah, we probably we'll add more over time, but we started with Bitcoin and started adding some more coins. We got requests from people, and just add more and more coins. But it's difficult because you have a certain amount of float that you have to disperse over the different coins. And
what do you have to do for the know your customer, KYC stuff? What do you have to do for that?
Yeah, so one of the things that when we started, which we really were strong on, we do everything by the book, really everything. We have a great compliance officer and department at this point, and because it's as much as we were just talking about the philosophical statements and visions about governing, that's one thing, but there's rules and there's laws on the books, and if you want to change them, the population has to change them, and so we follow every rule. We have actually engaged in the process of developing a very extensive AML policy. What it boils down to in practice is people that come to our machines, they all have to register. They have to register. They can bring any government-issued ID, doesn't matter which one, as long as there's a picture of them on there. And we'll take it in, the front, back side, a selfie. And that information is on file. So we don't share that information unless we have to by the government. But otherwise, it stays with us. It is just something that is needed to fulfill the Know Your Customer policies.
Is that for every transaction?
It's for every transaction. Okay. It is for every transaction. We looked very carefully at the rules, the books. You could perhaps make a case for, let's say, a low transaction. But because the environment is so scary in a way, you don't even want to go there. You want to show even to the regulators and the governing structure, look, what we're trying to do here is facilitate Bitcoin, because I personally believe the more people have the coins and own them and are happy about them, the sooner you're going to see a political shift. We saw it in South Korea, I think, very nicely, where very recently, where the South Korean government suddenly found themselves split into several departments, the Justice Department and Finance Department. They all had different opinions over how to handle Bitcoin, maybe even ban it, and the backlash in the population was gigantic. People asked for the Justice Minister to resign. And I think the reason why...
There's a report also now that at least one government official showed an amazing amount of psychic ability in selling his cryptocurrency before that.
I think I saw a headline. Yeah, and so I think if people hadn't traded like they did in South Korea for the last half a year, it would have been less of an interest and less of a pushback. So with the Bitcoin ATM, one of the goals is really a big scaling operation where everybody has an easy, convenient way to get their coins and get the fees down. And the fees are tied to the scale pretty much, and the amount of money that it costs to comply, to do banking and all of those other things.
Well, let's just talk about the evolution of the ATM machine in a little bit in general first. and how that ties into what you're talking about. So originally, most banks, when they first started automating this, it was a ATM at that bank that you were a bank account holder and you used that. Then we had the ATMs that you could bring your card from any bank, and with whatever fees you had to pay, you could use that ATM and get your money. Then we had the innovation of either called prepaid debit cards or reloadable debit cards. And now people that didn't even have a bank account. So you had to be at your bank. Well, you had to have a bank account. And now you don't even have to have a bank account. You have this debit card that you can load up. So now you're the next step in that you don't necessarily even have to start with money.
Right. It's very, very, very interesting to look at the whole evolution. And in term, you could think that the ATM, especially a Bitcoin ATM, replaces a lot of
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment walking down the street to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy.